With the holidays around the corner, our thoughts turn to gifts for friends and family, namely, what to get them. For Tech Essentials, we turned to Joanna Stern of Engadget, who waded through the plethora of tech items out there and pulled out a few. Joanna, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, one of the biggest trends this year has been tablets.
Yes.
Which would you recommend?
Really, the iPad is still at the top of the heap. Everyone's been trying to catch up for the past few months. What can we put out there that's like the iPad, a little bit different? The difference between some of the new ones that have come out is they're smaller. So the Samsung Galaxy Tab is one option, and actually right now probably the best competitor to the iPad, and it runs the Android operating system from Google. It's a 7-inch display, so it makes it a little bit smaller, easier to read a book. But it's really more optimized right now for surfing the web and reading books because the app experience isn't quite there yet for tablets on Android.
And what about e-readers? For instance, Barnes & Noble just released the Nook Color recently.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, sort of hinges right on that question of tablets is what's the difference between a tablet and an e-reader, and the iPad can read, you can read books on your iPad, you can read them on a black and white screen like the Kindle. So actually Barnes & Noble has kind of gotten right in between there and said, we're going to release this product, it's called the Nook Color, 7-inch display as well, really nice, crisp display. And they're going to kind of inch in there with getting magazines, color content, children's books, that sort of thing. So that's a really interesting product, I think. Sort of fits the bill for both. You can do web surfing on it. You can also read books. You can download them from Barnes & Noble store. But of course, there's also sort of the simpler products that are, the Kindle, the regular Nook, which come down in price. They're actually only around $150 now, whereas that Nook Color actually sits at $249.
Now, what about smartphones? Over the past few months, for instance, it feels as though we've almost been inundated with, with devices based on Android, based on Windows Phone 7.
Yeah, I mean, the smartphone market is really interesting space to watch right now. Android has obviously come in big. Google's operating system is on a number of different devices from Motorola, HTC, Samsung, really nice looking devices, big screens, some with keyboards. So there's some nice options there. You've obviously also got the iPhone 4, which had some issues early on, but it's still one of the most popular smartphones out there, and everyone's really happy with the App Store. You now sort of have Microsoft getting back into the game and saying, here's our new phone operating system. It's called Windows Phone 7, and they've totally rebuilt it. It's a really nice looking UI, or user interface. It has these different panes where you can sort of customize with Facebook friends, and then you've got an App Store there as well.
Are there any particular items that you feel we should wait on?
That's always the question, right? I feel like I'll buy a phone one day and the next day another great one will come out. I think by the time, Christmas season settles in, we'll see the core group of consumer electronic products hit the market. I don't think we're going to see much exactly hitting at the end of December. I think, however, in early January is a big time for consumer electronics companies to come out with new stuff. There's a show out in Vegas, and a lot of people come out with new gadgets. And I believe we're all kind of waiting to hear if Apple's going to come out with the iPhone on Verizon, but we don't have answers to that, and you just never know what's going to come.